Hi everybody, my name is Jan Dufour and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from just outside of Louisville, Kentucky. If you were with me last week, we made these very sweet little boxes. Actually, I used this one on the 6x6 piece of paper. Then I demonstrated how to cut down for 4 on one 12x12. And inside, I'll just show you again because they're so cute, is a nugget that has been covered up with paper and a mini ice, chap ice, which you can get online at Amazon. You can go ahead back to my last post and see the link there. So what happens when you do the 12x12 and cut off the 3 inches for 9 inches along one way, you end up with a strip of paper that is very nicely, and I'll show you a different one because I've already used mine, but essentially 3 inches by 9 inches. So you can make a couple of those because you want to cut it 3x4. So this is scrap paper. It's a very thin strap of the gold, some scrap white, and then the card base. Now here I did white on white and elevated it so that there's some dimension on there. That's awesome when you give cards, and because this one says with love, it would go great with sticking a gift card inside, or just anytime with love. But we're gonna make a present, and I'll give you the dimensions. I've already got them cut out. Of course, it's a card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then we have a piece of white, which is the first level, a layer, I should say, which is a 4 by 5 1/4. Then I decided just a little bit bigger than this one. Normally the next level would be 3 3/4 by 5. I wanted it a hair bigger than that, so that the present stood out a little bit more. So this one is actually 3 7/8 by 4 5/8. So all I did was add 1/8 of an inch to 2 sides just to make it a hair more prominent. So we're going to go ahead and assemble this, just these pieces here. Again, the present is 3 inches by 4 inches because that's what the leftover piece was, so it made a perfect present size. I'm going to first adhere this to the white base. Liquid glue is my favorite glue because there's time to move it. And because this is just 1/8 of an inch all the way around, it's even more important to be able to slide it around if I didn't get it in the right spot. Then before I put it on the card, I want to go ahead and make the card. So I'm going to adhere the present. This would be cute on a different color background. As all our designer series papers are beautiful. I'm going to put it right centered side to side, but not top to bottom. I want to anchor it a little bit further down. And then I did not cut a piece for the gold. And this comes from, it's called Festive Foils. You get 6 sheets, I believe. Yep. 2 of each color. There's gold, silver, and bronze, which comes in mighty handy. So all I'm cutting is 1/4 of an inch for the present. If you're doing multiples of these, you'll get 1.5 of the gold. One is 4 again. And then the next one is 3. And that will leave you enough for another 4-inch one, or every other one would be a 3-inch one. Well, and this one's staying there permanently. All right. It gives you some leftovers when you're doing multiple cards, which comes in handy. All right. So I also went ahead This is a piece that's 1.5 inches that I cut off. And then, as you can see, made multiple bows. The bows come from Cottage Wreath Dies, which is a new set that's coming out in our January to June mini catalog. However, it is an early release. Demonstrators already could get it, which is a perk of a demonstration, but even our customers will be able to order it November 1st. So actually, by the time you see this video, you'll be able to order it. Okay, so now I'm going to put a little bit of blue on the gold. And you can, I'll show you an example. This one was centered, and then this one was slightly elevated because of this. I made another one. I think I talked last week about the fact that I made 100 of those little treat bags. And this is the papers that I used, designer series papers that I used. And so because I knew I was putting this in the center, I kind of off-centered presents. You know how they do that too. So that's another option. And I think actually I like it better. So I'm going to go ahead and put this off to the side. That's a personal choice. You can do your presents however you like. I don't mind asymmetrical as long as it's symmetrically asymmetrical. So they don't have to be straight together. They can be this way, but they have to be symmetrically that way. Same distance, etc. Some of us are just like that. And then I'm going to place this one up here. Get my dirty fingers off my gold. And then again, as I said, I had cut out multiples of these. And I did want to add dimension to that. So I'm going to go ahead and use 2 of our mini dimensionals. And then pop, oops, not pop the whole dimensional off, just the cover. My fingers are a little sticky. I think that's part of the problem. They're sticky enough not to let the sticky back let go. All right. And then we're going to set that right up on top of the present. Now, for the back of this to be elevated, I'm going to go with, sometimes I just do a lot of dimensionals, but if I'm going to be mailing any of these, where did I put those? I have lost it. Oh, no, I haven't. Okay. So Stampin' Up! Also sells foam adhesive strips. They come with, of course, I can't read them. Well, it says 40 of these. I think there's 2 sheets in each one. No, that wouldn't be enough. Yeah, it would be. 2 sheets. I generally leave one alone, and then I cut one at 5 1/4 by 4, which there's a little edge on here, which you can also use, but that doesn't really count. And I do that so that I can just take a strip off, oops, and lay it in the right spot, right here. And lay it down, and it tears easily if there's a little piece over. It depends on how small your inner card is. If it's a full-size card or full-size sheet, behind here it will fit. Oops. Alrighty. And then the smaller size, well, will also fit across the top. Oops, I'm pulling off the... And then I'll probably put one down the center just for a little extra stability. And actually, you can put these little sections in here as well, the parts that you pulled off. If you wanted to. It's not necessary. This is not going to be under that much stress. So it doesn't really matter. But it is generally a little bit quicker than putting 12 dots down or whatever dimensions that need to be there. All right. Then we're going to put the present on the paper. And this is it's not a, you better get it right or else. As long as you don't press it down, you can actually peel this up a little bit. but I got it right, so we're good. Now we're going to set this aside, put this away while I show you how to do the sentiment. So first I wanted to show you, I've been running across this with this particular color because it's cherry cobbler and it's one of my favorites, especially at Christmas. It takes a minute to dry and I'm not overly patient. So I'm going to show you, I think I'm going to show you, see that little mark right there? I don't like that. So I have a mono sand eraser, which works very well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can erase. I usually use a circular motion and I don't try to do it all at once. Sometimes it's more successful than others. It just depends on how deep that has soaked into the paper. So this is the kind of thing that you would want to do as soon as you see it. Brush it off. But as you can see, unless you're really, it was over here, trying to find something, it looks fine. So I'm going to set that one aside because that's not what I'm using. Now, because of the drying time, I will show you. I actually did another one. So it's sitting aside, but I'm going to show you. You know me and my templates. I also use Post-it notes, especially with our polymer stamps because they're not as deep as our red rubber is because the red rubber has foam under it. So I particularly then will use this, but it's a template. I've taken a sheet of paper and punched out using the handmade punch, which I love. It is gorgeous. And using the stamp set, Handmade Wishes, which has, you know, the dotted edge. It's got this one here, which I just think looks elegant. It's got all kinds of words. Trying to get holidays is kind of hard to get in here. The peace, love, for you, and with love and joy fit in here quite easily, the to from as well. And you can, of course, use these to decorate, you know, parts of this. But Christmas would have been a crunch unless I wanted to put Christmas right in the center with Mary and then maybe reverse these and put these upside down. I just wanted to make you aware of that. But I do love this set and I love the punch. So Handmade Wishes is the name of the stamp set. So I made one template. I only need one. I keep it forever. I put it in the stamp set with it, or I have a box of templates. But essentially what you do is you take this, I can show you. This is a test. Because with photopolymer, you have to make sure that you're not causing it to stretch. So you're going to scoot it until it's inside the template. There's another way to do this if you're having a hard time, and I will show you that one also. So, and then I did the same with love because I'm doing it the same color, so why not? And I'm going to take this off because I always test it to make sure that I've got it in the right spot. So let's take see how well I did. Again, sometimes I think I had to do this one twice to get it where I really wanted it, but let's see how I did. I did really well. Okay, the other way to do it, which I'll show you after, let's go ahead with this. I punched out a bunch of them. Why am I doing that? If I punch each one just on flat paper and then have to figure out every time where exactly this fits to make it come out right, it's going to take you a while. Now, if you're only doing one, perfect way to do it. But if you're doing a bunch, I would suggest that you make this template. It's very quick. You put this where you want it. Then you slide it into, make sure you get it in the right spot because this has got little picky points. Slide it into the template. Then you can ink it, stamp it, and it comes out so pretty. Now it is off a little bit over here and here. So I'm going to show you another way you can do it. Let's take the template off. We'll turn this paper over. I'll just leave it where it is because it doesn't matter. You could put it over here. It wouldn't matter. And this goes for any template you make. But let's go ahead with this. So now I know where it is. I would take this, and as you can see, it's a little bit further over on this side, and it's what we would call, where I come from, crush, which is crooked in French, slang, crooked in French. But go ahead and place it so it is in fact, oops, it is in fact where you want it, all over the place. Of course, I'm going to try to get my head in the way so that you can see the top of my head while I'm trying to get this centered. And this one is actually cattywampus now a little bit. So what I would have to do, just so you know, I don't want to do it on that side though. So what I would do here, let's just do this so I can demonstrate it so you can actually see and see how it's done right. All right, so I just stuck it in the middle of anywhere. Make sure this is up in the corner. Put this down. Okay, as you can see, it's twisted sideways. It's down in the middle of nowhere. But what I can do is, as I put this on here, I can make the template be exactly where I want it to be. A little bit down here. There. Once the template's in place, I can take another blank and put that right in there. Stamp this. Close this. And I still have it backwards. I promise, when I'm not doing this live, it works out perfectly. Let's see, where did I go wrong? Looks like, make sure this is in the corner. Make sure this is still stamping where I put it. Yep. All right, start with the top. Put where I want it. Make sure the bottom is in the right place. Need to scoot it a little bit. Oops, scoot it a little bit that way. All right, let's try this again. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm also gonna tape it at the top because I don't know if it moved. Because I'm doing this in the middle of nowhere, I wanna make sure it doesn't move. And I promise, eventually this will come out. You only have to do this once or twice, as I told you that I did the first time, to get it to be where you want it to be, so that it comes out. So it comes out every time. So this one was in the middle of nowhere. Like I said, the template, if you stamp it and then put it where you want it, it will work out. So now that I've got that moved and all over the place, I'll just stick that in here. I'm gonna put my with love in there so I don't lose it. Move that aside. Well, actually now, this is probably, would have been dry enough. It's not smearing now, but I don't like that one. So we're gonna use this one. And I have this up on dimensionals as well, but this time I just used the regular dimensionals. And if I were mailing these, if you know ahead of time, if you know that you're mailing them, I would also put one in the middle. If you are just handing them over, it doesn't matter quite so much. Oops. And because I am using scraps basically from my other project, this is very quick. Doesn't cost very much. A few dimensionals and, like I said, some background paper, etc. But you end up with a lovely card. It is dimensional and shiny, which is what you need at Christmas, right? If you have any questions, you can reach me at jandufour@yahoo.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can go for the instructions at my blog, stampmesilly.com. If you would like to order anything, you can order from my online store at jandufour.stampinup.net. If you don't have a demonstrator and you would like a free catalog, I can send you one right away when you email me, and I will send you the next available catalog, which will be coming out, the mini, January 3rd, I believe. through June 30th, and it'll have all kinds of fun things like Valentine's and spring and a lot of those kinds of things. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Please subscribe and you'll get notified every time there's a new post. I usually post once a week on Wednesdays. Bye.